Jonathan Wilson. I'm the event director for Rugby Expo.
And your midterm objectives for Rugby Expo, and maybe a few words about what Rugby Expo is all about.
Yeah, I mean, Rugby Expo is ultimately the biggest meeting place for the business of rugby. We're back here at Twickenham for the third year, but the event actually was initiated in 2008. So we're well established, and ultimately our job is to bring together the brands, the suppliers, the sponsors, the agencies, and the clubs, a number of the home unions as well, to allow that kind of face-to-face interaction that just doesn't really happen that often otherwise, unless events like this actually existed.
And is it growing on a year-by-year basis?
Yeah, I mean, we're happy with the growth. I mean, this year is definitely sort of, sustainable, good, solid growth. I mean, we're probably 15-20% up on our numbers on day one. This year, on our second day, which is focused on community rugby, we're over 400 pre-event registrations, which is fantastic. That's really driven with our partnership with the RFU. Yep. Our numbers on day one, where we saw every single Premiership club in the room, is driven with our partnership with Premiership Rugby. So for us, it's really all about engaging with the key stakeholders in the sport, making sure we provide an event that they see as adding value to them and their key stakeholders to bring everybody together. From our side, I guess the best way to sum up the success for our exhibitors is to look at those that are back year on year. Yeah. So tickets.com are again here for the third year, sponsoring the event. They ran a session yesterday with a partner of theirs called Agilicis, who was talking about sort of mining of data across all of the clubs, opportunity to capture data, whether that's corporate hospitality, obviously ticketing, but it could also be merchandising, etc. And then drilling into how you monetize that opportunity to engage with that data. But Rhino are back for the third year as well, Raging Bull are back for the second year, O'Neill's are back for the third year. So big brands in the sport that see the value of working with us really, really hard this year to bring the absolute best that we can to the event. So having Steve Martin here, the chief exec of Satis, to talk about sponsorship and commercial, to have the guys from Etihad in that same panel, along with David Lyons from Paddy Power, another strong supporter of the event, to talk about from a sponsor's perspective, not talking about sponsorship from a club's perspective, which is typically what these events do, and to spin that on its head is the reason why we had 120 people in a room that we originally designed for 80. There was a social media panel that preceded that with some fantastic content, and again we've got the guys from YouTube and Google here to talk face to face to the clubs. You can't not learn in those sorts of environments, and we do put a lot of emphasis on the content, and that was evident in this year's plenary sessions with Mark McCafferty here talking about European Club Rugby. The earlier sessions talking about broadcast. Obviously we had Simon Green, the head of sport for BT Sport. So it's something that we place a really strong emphasis on, and it's important that we add value to our delegate experience.
It must be difficult to also get the balance right between the commercial day one, and the grassroots day 2.
Yeah, and that's where the partnerships come in. We work really closely with a number of stakeholders on day one, so especially the guys at Premiership Rugby, for example, but some of our contacts at other clubs, to really understand where their challenges are and where they see the opportunities and what they want to learn about, and that's really important. And then on day 2 we work really closely with Steve Granger and the development team at the RFU to ensure that the content that we provide is on the money for the clubs, for the community clubs, because we want them to have a really useful, insightful, valuable day, and we don't charge the grassroots clubs for their tickets, and we never have. And that's a really important statement for us, and it shows the strength of our partnership with RFU that we will continue to make sure that is the case. But we also want to make sure that we offer the maximum value, because we recognise that a number of them are taking a day off work to come to Expo.